Hello friends, welcome to this course on communication skills and personality development. In this lecture, we will be discussing about the meaning of communication, its definition, functions of communication, elements of communication, communication skills, its importance, and types of communication.
So the term communication is derived from a Latin word communis, meaning common. This we can verify in our day-to-day lives also. When we go to a new place and we have to start a conversation with some people which we have never met before, we try to find out a commonness to start a conversation like, okay, are you also agriculture graduate? I have also done my BSc agriculture from so and so university or college. And then this is how the conversation begins. So the basic theme of communication revolves around the idea of bringing commonness or common understanding. There are various definitions of communication given by different scientists, but we will be looking into three of them. Number one, Liggins in 1961 stated that communication is the process by which two or more people exchange ideas, facts, feelings, impressions in ways that each gains a common understanding of the meaning, intent, and use of messages. Rogers and Shoemaker in 1971 defined communication as the process by which messages are transferred from a source to receiver. Van Ban and Hawkins in 1988 described communication as the process of sending and receiving messages through channels which establishes common meanings between a source and a receiver.
So let us move on to the basic functions of communication. Thayer gave four basic functions of communication. Number one being information function. The adaptability and adjusting oneself to the environment requires oneself to be informed. There must be some information about what is going on in the environment which concerns the people. Second function being command or instructive function. This is true in case of both formal and informal organization, but mostly it is seen in formal organization than in informal organization. Persons who are superior hierarchically in the family, society, or organization often initiate communication either for the purpose of informing their subordinates or for the purpose of telling them what to do, how to do, when to do, etc. The third function being influence or persuasive function. According to Barlow, the sole purpose of communication is to influence people. Persuasive function of communication is to induce people in order to change their behavior in the desirable direction. That's what the main objective of extension education. The fourth and the last function being integrative function. A major function of communication is integration or of continuously offsetting any disintegration at the interpersonal or at the organizational level. This helps to maintain individual, societal, or organizational stability and identity. Now let us discuss in brief the elements of communication. The first element being the communicator. In the context of agriculture and rural development, extension agent is the communicator who starts the process of communication. There is a contradiction between the source of the information and the spread of the information. The knowledge generates through research, and as such the research institutes, research projects, universities are the originators or the source of message. The extension agent obtains the required information from the research and carries it to the audience, whoever may it be, the farmers or the other research scholars. Second most important element of communication is the message. The information which is relevant to a particular set of audience constitutes the message. Otherwise, for them is noise. To produce desirable changes in the human behavior, The messages must be relevant, interesting, useful, profitable, credible, and complete. These type of messages are likely to motivate the people. The third important element of communication is the channel. Channel is the medium through which the information flows from a sender to one or more receiver. It could be face-to-face, word of mouth. These are the most simplest and yet one of the most widely used effective means of communication. The channels of communication may be classified into a number of ways according to different criteria. Likewise, to quote, according to form, it could be spoken or written channel. According to the nature of personnel involved, it could be personal localized, where one who belongs to the receiver's own social system. Personal cosmopolite, where the channels from outside the social system of the receiver, and impersonal cosmopolite, where the channels of communication from the outside the social system of the receiver, and at the same time, no personal face-to-face contact is involved. According to nature of contact with the people, it may be individual contact, for example, being farm and home visit, farmer's call, group contact, small group training, field day, mass contact, example being mass meeting, campaign, exhibition, radio and television. The fourth important element of communication being the treatment and presentation. So what does this treatment mean? Treatment means the way a message is processed so that the information gets across to the audience, and presentation means how the message is communicated or placed before the audience. The fifth important element of communication is the audience. Yes, the audience or receiver of the message is the target of the communication function. An audience may consist of a single person or a number of persons. It will comprise of men, women, and youth, or all of them. An audience may be formed according to occupation groups such as crop farmers, fruit farmers, dairy farmers, poultry keepers, fish farmers, homemakers, etc. This is the technique of breaking down of large heterophilous communication into small homophilous communication. This is also known as audience segmentation. Communication to be successful must be target oriented. The last and the most important element of communication is audience response or the feedback. Response of the audience is the ultimate objective of any communication function, or we can say it as the audience response is the end and rest all are the functions and the means to achieve this end. Now let us see its importance or the need of communication skills. For a student, good communication skills are essential for the successful career. Reading, writing, listening, individual presentations, and public speaking effectively are the most important communication skills for students. Second importance is that effective communication skill helps motivate the employees to work towards success. Using the right tools of communication, the functioning of an organization can be accomplished smoothly and efficiently. It also increases production, sales, and profit without any supervision. Next, a marketing and sales guy needs good communication skills to impress the clients through their role and communication. And why only marketing and sales guy? I would like to say that each and every one of us at one point of time, we need to sell our product or our service in order to sustain ourselves in a social system. Next, effective communication skills helps the entrepreneurs and research scholars to prepare, submit, and present his business or research proposal for getting funds. And consequently, effective communication helps better decision making ability of an organization when the information, data, and other facts are not effectively communicated. It hampers the decision making. So, communicating information, data, and facts at the right time to the appropriate authority is essential for an organization. And likewise, effective communication helps resolve conflict, controversies, and disagreements very quickly in an organization. So these are the importance or need of effective communication. So let us move on to the types of communication. The formal communication is the process of exchanging information between two or more persons by following the prescribed official rules, procedures, systems, and chain of command in the organizational structure. Formal communication may be downwards, that is the flow of information and messages from a higher authority in an organization to a lower authority. Upward communication, in which the flow of information is directed from the lower levels of the organization to the higher levels in the organization. And the horizontal communication, by which the information is transmitted between or among persons of the same level working under the same superior. It is also called as lateral communication. Let us see what is informal or grapevine communication. Informal communication is the casual form of communication wherein the information is exchanged spontaneously between two or more persons without conforming to the prescribed official rules, procedures, formalities, and chain of command. It is also known as grapevine communication as it is free from organizational, conventional rules and normalities. Let us move on to the verbal communication. Verbal communication is sharing of information and ideas between individuals by spoken or written words. Basically, it is of two types, oral and written communication. So, oral or vocal communication takes place by exchange of ideas from one group to another by word of mouth, vocal category, which includes spoken language. And the written communication refers to the process of conveying a message through the written symbols or written words. It will be very surprising for you to know that only 7% of the communication is done verbally. Rest, the 93% of communication, yes, it is done non-verbally. So the communication through facial expression, tone of voice, body movement, posture, clothing, and other non-verbal forms of behavior comes under the non-verbal communication. Yes, the scientific research on non-verbal and behavior began with the publication of Charles Darwin's The Expression of Emotions of Man and Animals in 1872. Let us now look into some of the types of non-verbal communication. Number one being the kinesics. The word kinesics means movement. It was first used by Ray Birdwhistell, an anthropologist, which comprises the kinesics word comprises of the study of body movement, gestures, facial expressions as a means of communication. Next, being proxemics. Proxemics refers to the study of how space and distance influence communication. The term was coined by anthropologist Edward Hall. And also, Hall has specified for distance zones like intimate distance, which ranges from 0 feet to 1.5 feet. Personal distance extends from 1.5 feet to 4 feet. Social distance exists from 4 feet to 12 feet. And public distance, which exists from 12 feet to 25 feet. Next, nonverbal communication being paralanguage. It is also known as vocalics. It refers to the study of nonverbal communication such as voice quality, tone, pitch, speech, manner of speaking, speech rate, etc. The other type of communication being haptics. Haptics refers to the study of touching and how it is used in non-verbal communication. For example, the way we handshake, we hold hands, back slapping by our seniors, etc. comes under haptics. And the next type of non-verbal communication being the chronemics. Chronemics emphasizes on the use of time in communication. It deals with the study of how time is used in communication. It includes time perception like punctuality, willingness to work, etc. The next type of nonverbal communication is artifacts. Artifacts include physical objects such as clothing and accessories that indicate to others about a person's personal and social habit. Clothing is an important aspect which indirectly promotes communication in business organization, private sector office, sales representative, etc. And the last type of nonverbal communication here is physical context. The physical context like room design, color, decorations, etc. carry different messages or ideas in different situations. Generally, white color is used in death rituals, whereas bright in colored full dresses and costumes are used in marriage ceremonies. Let us move on to our conclusion of today's lecture. Now move to the conclusion of today's lecture. We have seen that communication is to draw some common understanding or commonness between the sender and the receiver. We have also seen the four basic functions of communication, that is the information function, command or persuasive function, instructive function and integrative function. We have also seen 6 basic elements of communication. Number 1, communicator. 2, message. 3, channel. Number 4 being treatment and presentation. 5th one being audience. And 6th one being audience response or feedback. We have also seen that communication skills are required. Effective communication skills are required to convey an information effectively and efficiently. And in types of communication, we have seen that verbal and non-verbal are the types of communication in which the non-verbal communication is the most important, as most of the communication takes place in non-verbal communication. Thank you.